So, I just finished making this animation and I think it's pretty neat. I hope you thought that too. But luckily, I had recorded the entire process of making this animation, so uh, I wanted to make a cool little behind the scenes video showing you all the steps I took to make this, and hopefully you'll enjoy. I know I enjoyed making this video because personally I love watching behind the scenes videos. And yeah, okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is get your grubby mitts on a VR headset. This is because there's a program called Luxor, and what this program does is it basically lets you use your VR movements and turn that into mocap data, which you can then put into Blender, and magic happens. Okay, but wait, that's not all, because raw mocap data sucks. It's completely unusable. It's all jittery and gross. Look at that. I don't even know what's going on there. So what you want to do is you want to clean up these keyframes a little bit with the fun little Blender shortcut right here, and then boom, you got it. That looks better and much more smooth. Now you may be thinking, whoa, hang on, why does this look different than the mocap rig? Now let me tell you. Basically, what we have here is we have two separate rigs. One rig is what's attached to the model, which is basically what makes it move. Now it has these inverse kinematics, so I can move this here and that there, and everything follows. And then we have the mocap rig, which isn't connected to the model, but the inverse kinematics are parented to the mocap rig, so the movement is basically copied over to the inverse kinematics rig, and what this allows me to do is now I can change the inverse kinematics rig without actually having to alter the mocap data, which is great, because if my arm is in the wrong position, I can just move it back over. Now you just go through the animation and animate all the arm positions and finger movements, because half of mocap is animating. People think that, just because you use mocap doesn't mean everything's done for you. You still have to do all the post stuff, animating it after the fact. Oh yeah, and I forgot, sometime between animating the arm movements and making your rig, you gotta make the environment. But yeah, you get it. And now we move on to the robot. For the rig, I followed this tutorial by Ian Hubert, which I highly recommend. It's really cool. So basically, you have the armature for the robot, right? But then you have all these other tiny little details that you want to move with the robot. So you make those inverse kinematics and put those on the side, and now you can parent those to the main leg bones, and now they move along with it. And just add some bone constraints, and blam, you got a cool looking robot with all these complex moving parts. It's pretty neat. And now we animate the robot. There's no mocap here. There's nothing special fancy. I just did it by hand, but it was pretty fun trying to get the weight and timing of the leg movements and stuff. It was pretty interesting to figure that all out. And now we're done. Except we're not. See, we still have to add all these other tiny little details, like the screen, all of that's moving in Blender. The gun, that's actually two separate models, one for when it's in the hand and one for when it's on the floor. These stab effects, that's all completely separate from the model. You just gotta add all these other tiny little details to enhance the viewer's experience. Great, now we're done. We can finally render out these animations. The only problem is that rendering takes a really long time, so I like to just leave these running overnight. So now that you've rendered out all of your clips, it's time to put them into Premiere Pro. Except now we have a new problem. There's no sound. You didn't record any sound. So what are we gonna do? Video editing, and sound editing, and Foley, which is this, I think? Anyway, once you finish rustling around whatever pieces of fabric you have laying around, it's finally time to finish your editing and render out the final animation you're gonna show everyone. Okay, cool.